Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 2 of the Write Your Resume with Me series. Today we're going to look at a different role and a slightly different scenario of what it's going to look like to write your resume. So building off of what we covered last time, we do want to have certain sections of your resume prepped and ready to go because regardless of what role you are applying for, or how much experience you do or don't have, they will basically stay the same. This is your contact information and your education. In the written transcript of this video available on the website, I will leave links to all those particular sections of the Write Your Fashion Resume in 7 Days guide for anyone who needs that refresher. So in our last session, we imagined a scenario where a person with no prior experience was trying to get a job in fashion. In that case, a fashion stylist role, which is less technical. This time, we'll look at how to write a resume for a more technical role, such as a fashion designer. So step 1 of the process would be to collect all your basic information. This is what would happen if you were working with a professional resume writer in any case. You would likely be asked to fill out a questionnaire so that we could take inventory of what you have to offer an employer, such as your relevant degree and perhaps what you learned in that degree, any internship or work experience that hopefully aligns to the role you're going after now, and of course your contact information being aspects like your professional email address, a completed LinkedIn profile, and a portfolio if you need one. Note, most employers will prefer this very chronological record that shows continuous involvement in a role that you're applying for now. We know that's not always the case, so we do have to customize our resume to show our own strengths. But knowing our own strengths isn't enough. It has to align with the job description. So studying the job description becomes very important. As previously mentioned, I like to copy and paste the text from the job description into a Word document so that I can really study what's going on, highlight keywords, etc. Here is an example of a live job description I recently found. As you can see, some of the keywords I could pick up were preparation of technical packages, PLM system, Microsoft Office such as Excel, PowerPoint, and Word, Adobe Creative Suite. There will definitely be crossover between similar roles. That's why it makes your job search so much easier to have a more targeted search rather than not. But even within similar roles, I would still encourage you to look out for particulars. Like a fashion design role for one brand might prefer you have already worked with lingerie, while another might prefer you have worked with bridal wear. But the core skill set could remain the same. If you have that specific niched down skill that aligns to the job description, that is definitely worth highlighting. But now let's try to apply all this to the content of a resume. Let's try to combine your personal information as an applicant with the requirements that they're asking for in the job description. I would start off by creating bullet points for the work experience section, as this will probably be the most rigorous part of writing your fashion resume. For example, let's say this is some of the work experience you have while applying for fashion design roles for the very same job description we've been looking at. So you were a sales associate / stylist at Banana Republic at a certain location for a given length of time. A lot of the clients I've worked with who were previously in some sort of a repetitive role, like being a salesperson, will struggle to come up with strong bullet points for their work experience. they will write really bland bullet points like greeted clients, ensured changing rooms were tidy, opened and closed cash register, which is all true. However, how does that recommend you for the responsibilities they've listed in the job description that we've been looking at? This is the thought process you want to have. Yes, you may have had a seemingly bland role where you were just another cog in the machine, but is there any way that you can package that, rephrase that to reflect that you have honed the skill set that you would need in this new role? So let's do just that. Let's look at this first point, greeted clients. So what skills and keywords did you use for this? While you were interacting with people, as this is a client-facing role, there was communication involved. Maybe you could also say relationship building. We can say that because we want customers coming back and not running away because of bad service. There might have also been team building or working as part of a team. So secondly, we want to look for an aspect of the job description where those skills can be utilized or keywords were mentioned. Like this example, this right here. Communicates daily with vendors via fax and email on various technical issues. So how can we bring the two together to create a strong, relevant bullet point under your work experience? Well, there are several methods. You can Google them. The simplest I have found is one called the WHO method. So WHO, which simply stands for what, how, and outcome. You want each of your bullet points to follow this format. What has to do with the task or responsibility that you carried out, and make sure you always start with an action verb. Starting points off with responsible for sound weak and could be a lot better. You could also Google resume action verbs if you need to. The how section, this has to do with the methods or tools that you use, and outcome has to do with the impacts that you have. If you can quantify that with numbers, even better. So this is what it might look like. So what you did was communicated with team members, how, via internal messaging platforms such as, then maybe you could list those down there. And then the outcome, to coordinate daily operations, or maybe we could say the outcome was to serve an influx of customers during peak times or seasons. And then, of course, this is how the bullet point looks, how you derive. Of course, you don't want to have the what, how, and outcome, but this is how you would have written that out. If at this point you feel like we're spinning gold out of straw, do remember that your resume is a marketing document. Think about this like writing a commercial or an ad for yourself. While you shouldn't be lying on your resume, you are showcasing yourself in the best possible light so that you can impress a recruiter enough to give you a shot. So here's an example that I came across recently. I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day, and a job seeker was talking about how he was pouring himself some water during an interview and it spilled over all over the desk. Yikes. The recruiter said to him, "Nervous?" And the job seeker replied, "No, I just always give 110%. This is how you should think about showcasing your skills on your resume. Let's try another example. Your original bullet point could have been ensured changing rooms were tidy. Okay, again, very true, but very basic. Let's see what skills and keywords might have been involved. So again, communications, fittings, recommendations, those are just a few. So what responsibility might match the skill set? This is what I picked up from here, and it reads, measures samples, evaluates garment fit, and construction as it relates to specific standard requirements. Okay, so now let's apply the what, how, and outcome. So what you did, you could say that you acted as a personal shopper, and then how, by tactfully communicating garment fit and styling options, and the outcome, to upsell additional merchandise. So as we go through this process, notice how I'm including similar wording from the job description in the bullet points. This is what will help to make sure that your resume can get through an ATS review. And of course, there we have the finished point. And there are a couple of keywords that were worked into their garment fit that comes in for an example. And that's how you can really take seemingly unrelated kind of experience and really reword it to make sure that you are targeting the keywords in a job description. One other trick you can implement if your education and training are more suited to the role you're applying for than your experience is to list relevant modules covered. For example, if you only had sales experience, though you were a design graduate, then listing relevant modules under your education could really help. So for example, if these were some of the subjects that you covered, like garment construction, sample preparation, PLM, or product lifecycle management, basically looking through the job description for keywords that may be aligned to the modules that you covered and listing those under your education is going to help to get your resume flagged down during that ATS review, to make sure that if you couldn't really or had trouble including those relevant keywords in your work experience section, then you can at least include it in your education section. So again, remember, you do want to consider low-hanging fruit as well, just to get your foot into the industry. And it is very important ultimately to have that real-world experience and get your name and time associated with actual companies. But yeah, this is basically what you can do. And once you have your content sorted out like this, finally you can just arrange your resume into a template or whatever system that the company is using for the application, and you're good to go. So that's basically it for me. Hope you found this walkthrough useful. Remember, you can check out our services if you need more personalized help with your resume, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.